If you wish to become wealthy and happy for life, Alan Watts once said that the first thing you must learn is this: work harder on yourself than you do on your job. It sounds simple, yet it is a foundational philosophy that very few people truly understand. Most people spend their entire lives working hard. They go to the office every day, complete their tasks, follow procedures, and strive to meet targets. But they rarely devote time to developing themselves, to expanding their knowledge, refining their mindset, or broadening their perspective. Alan Watts believed that this lack of investment in oneself is precisely what prevents many from ever escaping mediocrity or the confines of an average income. He affirmed, "Your income will seldom exceed your level of personal development. If you wish to earn more, live better, and be happier, you must become the kind of person who deserves it." Success is not something you chase, it is something you attract by the person you become. Alan Watts offered a vivid example. If someone were to give you $1 million, you had better become a true millionaire, meaning you must grow in mindset, skill, discipline, and character to match that wealth. Otherwise, that money will soon disappear. He said, "If you divided all the money in the world equally among everyone, it would soon flow back into the same pockets it came from." This means that wealth does not reside outside of us, but within the level of our inner development. According to Alan Watts, success is a result of attraction, not pursuit. When you grow as a person, becoming more valuable, more knowledgeable, with the right mindset and attitude, you naturally draw opportunities, people, and resources toward you. Like a magnet, you do not need to chase success. You only need to increase your own magnetic strength. Moreover, he emphasized that happiness does not come from what you receive, but from the person you become in the process. Many people believe that money brings happiness, yet Alan Watts revealed that money is only a byproduct. True joy arises from growth, from becoming a little better each day than you were yesterday. Therefore, the first step to transforming your life is not to change your job, nor to seek luck, but to change yourself. When you invest in yourself, learning, reading, observing, cultivating discipline, and nurturing a positive mindset, everything else in life naturally improves. And as Alan Watts once said, "Don't wish for life to be easier, wish to be better." Personal growth is the solid foundation upon which true wealth and happiness are built. 3 steps to begin transforming your life. These are the 3 steps that can truly change your life, your character, your lifestyle, and ultimately everything about you. Step 1. Learn how things work. After realizing that all change begins within oneself, Alan Watts advised that the first step on the journey of personal growth is to learn how things work. And it sounds obvious, yet most people go through life never truly understanding why some succeed while others fail. They believe luck, circumstances, or connections determine everything. But according to Alan Watts, the root cause of all achievement or failure lies in one's understanding and state of mind. He once shared that, as a young man, he complained to his mentor, Mr. Schoaf, saying, "I don't have any money." Schoaf replied, "That's not the problem. The problem is that you lack ideas." That single sentence completely changed Alan Watts's perception. Until then, he believed the absence of money was the reason he was poor. But in truth, poverty is the consequence of lacking ideas, knowledge, and vision. Alan Watts asserted, "There is nothing that a good idea cannot change." Yes, that is why he urged us to begin by studying, learning, and discovering the laws by which life operates. If you want success, study success. If you want happiness, study happiness. If you want wealth, study wealth. Do not leave life to chance or rely on luck. Make it a serious subject of study. Alan Watts said that many people live with their fingers crossed, hoping that good things will happen. But hope is never a strategy. You must understand how things work, from how people think and act to how money, relationships, and success are formed. When you grasp the laws behind these things, you can consciously create results, rather than passively accepting circumstances. To achieve this, Alan Watts suggested a profoundly important tool. Write down everything you learn. He said, don't use your head as a filing cabinet. Write it in a journal. And when you write, you're not only storing information, you're creating a personal reservoir of knowledge to revisit, review, and refine. He emphasized the importance of repetition, for only when an idea is revisited over and over again does it truly take root in the mind and manifest in life. One day, that idea will sprout, and you will see it reflected in your bank account, your manner, and your way of living. Learning is the foundation, but learning the right way is the key. We do not learn merely to know, but to understand, to act, and ultimately, to become. When you understand how things work, you cease to be a victim of circumstance and instead become the architect of your own destiny. The 3 paths to personal growth. After realizing that transforming one's life begins with understanding how things work, Alan Watts shared 3 practical and powerful paths to self-development: reading, listening, and observing. These methods may seem simple, yet when practiced with persistence, they can bring about profound shifts in mindset, habits, and life outcomes. 1. Reading. Expanding the mind and intellect. Alan Watts believed that reading is the most powerful form of self-education. He said, every successful person I have ever met is an avid reader. Books contain years of experience, mistakes, and lessons from those who came before us. And when we read, we shorten our own path of learning. He advised, spend at least 30 minutes each day reading something positive, inspiring, or instructive. Just 30 minutes a day, and after a year you will have absorbed hundreds of ideas and philosophies that can change your life. A single book can save you 5 years of trial and error, but only if you truly read it. Alan Watts also pointed out an interesting paradox. There are hundreds of books written about success, happiness, leadership, and personal development, yet most people never read them. He asked, how do you explain that? And he answered with action, be different. Read every day, take notes on what matters, and put those lessons into practice. 2. Listening. Learning from the successful and the unsuccessful. The second path is listening. According to Alan Watts, seek to be near successful people and learn from them. Pay attention not only to what they say, but how they say it, their tone, their expression, their way of thinking and responding. He even suggested, the poor should take the rich out to dinner and listen. And because sometimes a few stories or a single idea from someone ahead of you can double or triple your income. Yet in reality, poor people rarely do this. They often think, he's rich, he can pay for himself. Alan Watts emphasized, invest in learning. A $100 meal could return an idea worth thousands. Listen also to those who have failed, so that you may know what to avoid. There are lessons on both sides, in success and in failure. 3. Observation. Learning from reality and the actions of others. The third path is observation. Alan Watts said, success leaves clues. If you observe carefully, you will begin to notice the patterns, habits, and behaviors that repeat among successful people. Watch how they shake hands, how they communicate, how they manage their time, and how they remain calm in difficult moments. He once joked, if someone earns $10,000 a month, watch the way he walks. That might be the secret. Alan Watts taught that there are 2 ways of seeing: sight, with the eyes, and insight, with the mind. When you look only with your eyes, you see appearances, but when you look with your mind, you perceive meaning and the underlying principles at work. To cultivate this ability, he advised, pay attention. Miss nothing. Wherever you are, be fully present. Vos, because every moment, if you are perceptive enough, carries a lesson that could change your life. These 3 paths, reading, listening, and observing, form the foundation of self-education and personal growth. When you practice them daily, your wisdom expands, your awareness deepens, and gradually your entire life begins to transform. Step 2. Action and self-discipline. After learning how things work and understanding the paths of self-development, Alan Watts said that the next step, and perhaps the most crucial, is action. He emphasized, "Don't let learning lead to knowledge, let it lead to action." And many people read dozens of books, listen to countless lectures, and fill entire notebooks with notes, yet they never actually do anything. They know so much, but their lives remain unchanged. According to Alan Watts, this is the common disease of the educated failure, a person whose mind is full of information, yet whose life bears no fruit. To learn without acting is like preparing meticulously for battle but never stepping onto the field. All the knowledge, philosophies, and ideas you accumulate mean nothing unless you turn them into concrete action. And it is action, however small, that marks the beginning of every great transformation. Start with small disciplines. Alan Watts taught that the secret of discipline lies in beginning small. Do not wait for something grand to take action. Begin today with the simple things within your reach. He said, "Be enthusiastic about small disciplines, for they will lead you to great ones." If you wish to strengthen your health, start with 10 minutes of movement each morning. If you wish to become a reader, start with 10 pages a day. If you want to improve your finances, begin by saving 10% of your income. These small, consistent steps, repeated daily, build the power of habit, and habit, in turn, shapes the strength of character. Alan Watts explained that if you cannot master the small things, you will never have the capacity to handle the great challenges of life. Discipline is like a muscle. It grows only through regular training, beginning with the lightest weights. Creating motivation from within. One of Alan Watts's most famous quotes is, "I don't understand why they call it self-motivation, because really it's the only kind that exists." He emphasized that no one can keep switching you on forever. If you rely on others to inspire you, then when they are gone, your fire goes out. True motivation must come from within, from a deep desire to grow, from the reason that gets you out of bed each morning. Alan Watts advised, find a why that is strong enough. When you know what you are doing it for, you will have all the energy you need to sustain your actions. A person with a powerful why can overcome any how. Action. The bridge between knowledge and results. Everything you have learned, read, or heard will remain mere theory until you bring it into practice in your daily life. Alan Watts said, "If you don't take action, you are stealing opportunity from yourself." Action is the bridge between knowledge and results, between dreams and reality. Each day, if you take even one small step toward your goal, you set yourself apart from the 99% who only talk, but never act. Alan Watts concluded, "Tomorrow can change everything, if today you begin to do something." Discipline is not confinement, it is long-term freedom. When you master yourself, you master your life. And it is consistent action, repeated day after day, that transforms you into the strongest version of yourself. Step 3. Play by the rules and begin the change. Today, after speaking about learning and action, Alan Watts ended with a profoundly important reminder. Don't try to beat the system. Learn how to work with it. This statement is not only about business or career, but a philosophy of life itself. True success only comes when you play by the laws of life. Alan Watts observed that many people, once they gain a bit of knowledge, start to bend the rules. Now they learn a few tricks and then seek shortcuts, trying to go faster, cheaper, and with less effort. At first, they may win. But in the long run, life always restores balance. He said, "When you cut corners, you end up with a cornered life." We live in a world governed by laws just like nature. If you sow little, you cannot reap much. If you neglect the seed, the tree will never bloom. Successful people understand this. They do not try to escape the rules, but instead learn to honor and harness them. Do it right, even if it takes longer. Alan Watts emphasized that doing things the right way may take more time, but it is the only path to lasting results. Learn to work with quality, with kindness, and with integrity. Even when no one is watching, do what is right. He said, when you understand how the system works, work with it, not against it. A true success does not come from clever tricks, but from discipline, persistence, and high standards in action. If you build your house on sand, it will collapse. But if you build it on solid rock, meaning on correct principles, then no matter how fierce the storm, you will stand firm. Discovering the power within. Alan Watts ended his talk with a powerful call. Look deep within yourself, for there lie the magnificent gifts you have yet to uncover. And he believed that every person carries hidden potential, waiting to be awakened. When you dare to believe that you can change, you open a new door, one through which all good things can begin. Alan Watts encouraged each person to have the courage to look inward, to rediscover the values, skills, and strengths they have long forgotten. Because true transformation does not begin in the outer world, it begins within you. Change, the power of choice. According to Alan Watts, everyone possesses the power to choose their own path. You can change your life any day you wish. All it takes is the decision to do so. And if you don't change, the next 5 years will look exactly like the past 5. But if you begin to change tomorrow, even by a single small step, the trajectory of your life will be altered forever. Change is not a grand event. It is a series of small, repeated choices made each day. You can choose to read 10 pages of a book. You can choose to wake up 30 minutes earlier. You can choose to listen instead of complain. And it is precisely these small choices, when sustained, that lead you toward a life of wealth, happiness, and genuine meaning. Any day you wish, you can change your entire life. And that is the power of being human, the power to choose, to grow, and to renew oneself. Do not wait for the perfect moment, for the perfect moment is now. Begin today, even with the smallest step, because with that first step, you are already different from the person you were yesterday.